action. Welcome to Nerd Sports. Today we're going to talk about racism.
Oh, that's a Pandora's box.
Well, okay, this is the story right now. This is actually happening. The Raiders coach. Oh man, I lost
John
it.
Gruden. Yeah, I saw that story today. We will get to that. Okay. So we'll get to that.
Oh, I brought it up already.
Fine, then bring it up. Go ahead.
Okay,
Go with it. It's your poodle. Take it for a walk.
The NFL Players Association executive director, a former trial lawyer, used to render an executive and sometimes long-winded answer on just about any topic on matters of debate, found himself speechless. And that's I'm going to butcher this freaking first name, Maurice Smith. And he opens up on John Gruden on racism emails.
Yeah, John Gruden. Yeah.
And the racism it had some homophobic and
misogynistic.
Misogynist. Okay. Yeah, dyslexia does not work very well with me when I'm about to go to bed. We're actually filming this like late. But they've already said that he is not a coach anymore.
Yeah.
He screwed that pooch.
Yeah.
Which is it's kind of funny in a way because right now, people are trying to cancel Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, the whole cancel culture thing is getting out of control again, and
there
was 605,000 emails. John Gruden's was the only one that got leaked. Really? Because the time that this email was written, while it was repugnant, yeah, okay, while the language that was contained in it was offensive, yes, fine, get that. But one, grow a skin. Get the fuck over yourself. B, he wrote that shit 5 years ago. Well, actually, no. He wrote it in 2011 when he was still a commentator for ESPN for their NFL stuff, right? He wouldn't join the NFL for another 5 years as a head coach again. Okay, so
It's one of those things. It was in the past, but in the same aspect, he should still get fired.
See, no. Here's the thing.
Because
he used salty-ass language in his email, right?
Yeah.
Chiefs wide receiver Tyreek Hill, he pled guilty to punching and choking his pregnant girlfriend, and he still collects a check. He gets to play every Sunday. Okay. So the standard is not the same across the board. Oh, he's a head coach. Fuck that. Okay, yes, I understand that he's a head coach. He should be held to a higher standard. But at the same time, we've had this discussion on this show several times. Whether or not these players want to admit it or want to own up to it or even want to acknowledge it, they are role models for somebody out there in this world. There is a kid or a young adult that looks up to that particular individual and says, I want to be where they are at. And people like Tyreek Hill who are choking out and punching their pregnant girlfriends are getting a pass. Guys who are doing drugs get a pass. Guys who are, breaking and entering or getting into fights into at strip clubs or stiffing the bill at a jeweler their rookie year, they're getting a pass. Now, if you want to hold the Players Association, the Players Union, the coaches, the referees, the ownership groups, or hell, even the executive offices to include Roger Goodell to the same standard, then you need to apply the same standard to everybody. I want to see the other 649,999 emails that were collected by this investigating body. I want to see what other people in the NFL or around the NFL are saying about each other or about specific demographics. I want to see those emails. But will we ever see them? No. Why? Because the NFL is creating a diversion, because they understand that this whole crucial catch thing, this whole continuing to let players wear political messages on the backside of their helmets while we deny those teams like the Cowboys the ability to wear a star on the back of their helmet to memorialize or to pay tribute to the Dallas police officer or the Dallas Police Department 6 that died in the line of duty. I mean, they understand that this whole thing is falling in around them. They understand that everybody that even has a remote IQ, even those that are in double digits, understands that the NFL is nothing more than just a mouthpiece for A, the left, B, the Black Lives Matters movement. And no, it's not me being a racist. It's just me going, well, you know what? If you're going to represent a message of equality, and you're going to have the words "end racism" printed and on the back line of end zones across the league, be consistent. Represent everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, really.
Why aren't they doing away with spousal abuse?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm going to beat my wife, but I'm going to go out here and I'm going to collect a couple $100,000 to go play a game on Sunday. Is that cool? Yeah. All right. I'm out. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, he has a high stress job. Like, really, you want a high stress job? How about be a stay-at-home mom? How about be a soldier? How about be a police officer or first responder? Seriously, there are jobs in this world that are way more high stress.
What's happening? That's another thing I haven't looked into that much. Is that case where that one NFL player broke into his family?
Richard Sherman, he signed a deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's playing football again.
Oh God, that's ridiculous. See, yeah,
because Shannon Bunting broke his arm week 1 against the Cowboys.
Yeah,
and so they were short a corner. So Richard Sherman's out there. He's like, hey, I need a job. He gets to sign a contract. But he made a complete ass out of himself on video trying to break into somebody's house.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he gets to play. John Gruden writes a damn email that contains salty-ass language. And, it's bullshit. You get all these people like like Matt Walsh, at Matt Walsh blog on Twitter. I hope John Gruden has learned a valuable lesson. If you want to have a job in the NFL, stick to beating your wife, raping massage therapists, and assaulting pregnant women. He's on point with that.
No,
and he's out of line, but he's not wrong.
Yeah, and it just seems like the high school quarterback that can't read or write is still getting a diploma type deal. Yeah. It is that kind of mentality that we still have. And it really does sicken me, because I had a tutorial, one of the football players in high school, for chemistry, because apparently I know chemistry really good, and I'm still surprised of how I can actually pull that one off, since half the time I'm like figuring out other things, but it actually helps with cooking and everything.
Yeah, see, the NFL reviewed those, like they said, those 650,000 emails, and it was in regards to the Redskins investigation, right?
Yeah.
John Gruden's emails had nothing to do with the initial purpose of the investigation. His were the only ones to get leaked. And I think it's because, just like the left, the Democrats, whenever they're trying to do something on the sly, or they know that they're about to get their asses beat, or busted or raked over to the coals, they throw a stickman argument out there, they throw a diversion out there. It's like, oh, well, people know that our vaccine mandates are shit, so what can we do? Release the murder ordinance. It's like, I mean, it's John Gruden being crucified for the sake of the NFL saving its ass. And the Buccaneers, again, I'm not a Buccaneers fan. I'm a Tom Brady guy. Okay, John Gruden was is a member of the Buccaneers Ring of Honor. right? At the stadium, they have certain like jersey numbers and names of people who are always going to be synonymous with that organization. John Gruden helped lead Tampa Bay to its very, 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 very first Super Bowl victory, actually, right? Back when Warren Sapp played. And they had, I think it was John Hasselbeck was their quarterback. And, this guy was like stocking shelves or, sweeping. He's a bouncer at a club or something. He wasn't even in football, and he was given a chance to play.
Was it the guy that's...
No, not Kurt Warner. No. But, see, I saw where you were going with that.
Yeah.
But today, the Buccaneers released a statement that says, quote, "The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have advocated for purposeful change in the arenas of race relations, gender equality, diversity, and inclusion for many years. While we acknowledge John Gruden's contributions on the field, his actions go against our core values as an organization. Therefore, he will no longer continue to be a member of the Buccaneers Ring of Honor." And it's like they're going to take his name off the Ring of Honor because of an email. I'm sorry. I'm sure that if you go in the locker room of any NFL team, you're going to hear the N-word getting tossed around by black players. Why is it okay? Oh, well, it's I hear it at work. I don't use it. I think that word is deplorable, actually. I really do.
Yeah, I'm in the same bout with that. Even if you are of that ethnicity, I don't. If the word is that bad to where the point to where if someone in another race actually says it, then hey, why well, it's because we're that ethnicity, but if you can say the Spanish word for black,
yeah,
and you're speaking Spanish and it picks up from somebody else, and they're like, if you're like in Europe, you can use knick-knock. That's the same thing, and it's just the culture that you're at and everything like that. But I understand that. But if a certain word is synonymous about one thing, stop using that fucking word.
Yeah, and
but it's that point of, in my opinion, it's a tit for tat type deal to where if they ban that word, you end up losing your free speech anyways.
Yeah, and Raiders cornerback Trayvon Mullen made an Instagram post in support of the coach. He said, "It's about how you finish. I got you, JG." So that's just a player sticking up for his coach. Does he agree with the emails or the content of the emails? No. The emails again had nothing to do with the Washington investigation. Period. Out of 650,000 emails, we got nothing. Nothing.
Other than that one.
His was the only one that was leaked. And that's because somebody was like, hey, look, I can affect somebody's life.
Yeah, that's
But you can't go against Dan Snyder, who is an absolute blithering idiot, and be like, well, he's an owner, so no. Roger Goodell is in cahoots with Dan Snyder. I don't like the owner of the and I'm going to call them the Redskins because that's what they are. Okay, they have the same colors and everything. Oh, we're the Washington football team. No, they're the Redskins. They are. Just like it's the Florida State Seminoles. It's just like until the end of the season this year, it was the Cleveland Indians. Now they're going to be the Cleveland Guardians. And I'm so sick of the PC.
What's really sad about
culture.
that whole thing, though, is a lot of the Native Americans actually came out and said, just like, don't do this. We're actually happy about that.
We like Chief Wahoo. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They loved it.
Yeah,
like, this is an amazing.
Basically, what you're doing is you're taking away the culture of the people that you're trying to protect.
You know what I find ironic about these teams changing their names from Native American references? is that the people who are changing these names are doing it for the sake of race inclusion, right? All they're simply doing is whitewashing
Yeah.
history. That's all they're doing. It's the same mentality as people that sit there and rip Civil War statues
like
down.
it's like this Monday.
Or- yeah.
Someone told me it's like it's indigenous
It's
people.
Indigenous Peoples Day.
I was like, what? When did that holiday? When did that become a holiday? Dad, it's Columbus Day. Oh.
Yes. You know, we're you know.
It confused
And
the
the
whole
fact that
hell
they
out of me.
still teach that Christopher Columbus discovered America, which he didn't, by the way, it was the Vikings. He got lost. He discovered the West Indies. Big deal. He was out looking for spices for the Queen of Spain's stew.
Yeah,
And in
he basically
1492, that's how the line goes, right?
he basically founded the Cayman Islands.
Yeah,
But okay, done with that rant. On to
baseball. All
baseball.
right, so okay. This has been a great week. Okay. We went over the Red Sox beating the Yankees in the wild card game last week, right?
I don't know. You were
think we did.
beaming. You're beaming. So
Yes, yeah. So, yeah, we did because we did it Zoom. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So, the Red Sox advanced to the American League Divisional Series against the number 1 seed Tampa Bay Rays, who won the division, won the American League East, the same division that the Red Sox are in. Game 1 was at Tropicana Field, and the Red Sox lost 5-0. It was a nightmare of a game. It was an absolute train wreck. Absolute train wreck. Certifiably terrible to watch, right? Randy Arozarena even stole home against the Red Sox, right? It was against left-hander Josh Taylor. But game 2, Chris Sale's on the mound. We're thinking, okay, we're going to have a little bit of easier time trying to contain this offense. The Rays hang 5 runs on Chris Sale during the first inning. So Chris Sale didn't last too long in that game. But the Red Sox did not give up. They did not give in. They came back and they won that game. Believe the score. Let me double check.
I'm looking right now.
I'm looking here.
I even typed in the. I even typed in game 4.
Okay, so Thursday, October 7th, they lost 5-0. Okay. Friday the 8th, the Red Sox came back and beat the Rays 14-6. Okay, they put up 20 hits against this pitching staff. Okay, 20 hits, 14 runs, all of them earned. Okay, Tanner Houck went out and got the win. Colin McHugh, he was one of their stellar rookies for the year, over in Tampa Bay. Shit the bed. He was carrying around after that loss a 16.20 ERA. Okay, horrific. All right. Saturday was a travel day for the American League teams, and then Monday the series shifted to Fenway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, or actually Sunday. Yeah, there we go. Sunday, the series shifted back to Fenway. The game, the Red Sox the Red Sox were trailing, and then they came back and they tied the game, or the Red Sox were leading, and the Rays came back and tied it. So here we are in the 13th inning.
Did it go to 13 innings?
It went 13 innings.
God.
Christian Vasquez comes in there on the first pitch of his at-bat, gets the sinker that he was looking for down and in, and absolutely blasts this baseball. Completely obliterated it. Hit it into the monster seats, walk-off 2-run shot. So, I mean, I'm jumping around, I'm hollering, I'm yelling, 2-1 lead. I'm like, yeah, we got this, because we weren't supposed to finish but maybe 8 or 9 games above 500 for the year. This is supposed to be technically a rebuilding year for the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Okay. And then last night, again, if we'd have shot last night, absolutely, I would have been completely worthless because I'd have been sitting here going, I had all my lucky gear on.
You basically, that's we'll get into that in a second.
What, my lucky gear? Yeah.
No. We'll get into that in a second.
Game 4 was last night.
I was looking at the schedule and everything for the Red Sox. It's like you were like, hey, can we do on Tuesday? I was like, because I would have to be checking the game the entire time. I was like, dude, I totally get that.
Yeah.
And this is going off on anybody that watches sports or anything like that, or is a fanatic in the sports arena. And this is even in gaming for D&D and everything. This is the reason why I get that. It's like someone touching my dice. If you touch my dice, I will likelihood just chop off your hand and use the blood to sanctify my dice again.
Right.
Which is the rights of any person that plays D&D. I mean, it's not in the rule book, but it's in the rule book, if you get my meaning.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why it's hard-pressed to actually, if someone's like, hey, that's my lucky hat. Yeah, I'm not touching that.
Yeah.
Can you grab it for you? No.
Yeah, don't touch my lucky hat. So last night.
At least it's not as strange as some things I've heard for lucky stuff. And
oh yeah, no, I don't have like a lucky jock strap or anything like that. No.
I was saying lucky butt plug, but that'd be strange.
Moving on. Fuck, dude. Okay, so Game 4 was last night. I was working late down in the Dallas area, so I'm having to listen to most of this game on the way back in traffic. And so, I mean, the guy that I'm working with, I mean, he's cool. He was a baseball guy too, So, I mean, he played baseball in high school, so he gets it. But he's a Chicago guy, so he's more of a White Sox fan than he is a Cubs fan, but he's like Chicago sports go, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there listening. He's passed out.
Yeah.
Right? And we're parking home runs in the stands, right? I say we. Fuck. The Red Sox are parking home runs in the stands. And I'm sitting there yelling, beating on the steering wheel. I'm like, yeah, I'm sitting there. He's like, what the fuck, poor guy. But so I get home, and I'm like, all right. So the Rays start tacking on runs, and I'm like, man, fuck. And then they're shutting down the Red Sox offense. And I'm like, this is bullshit. I'm sitting there going, no, I'm not going to give up my faith. I'm still a believer. Blah blah blah. I'm just sitting there going, the hell, who brought a goat into Fenway? And I'm talking about a goat like the goat that the curse of the goat that the Cubs went through for like 100 and something years.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, who resurrected Babe Ruth and traded him back to the Yankees again? What the fuck is going on here? Because pitching just started falling apart. Ryan Brazier comes in, and he ties the game by giving up a couple of key hits and a home run. Right? And I'm like, so, it gets all the way down to the bottom of the ninth. And so, I'm literally, like, on the edge of my seat. I am going back and forth. I'm pacing. And so I'm getting down to, come on, there we go, thank you. All right, so here we go into the bottom of the ninth, pitching substitution. So J.P. Frierson comes in relief. He was like the 8th or 9th pitcher that Tampa Bay used last night, which is kind of that's their MO. I mean, they do kind of this bullpen by committee bullshit where they manage their pitch counts like overly. It's like if you got a guy who's pitching on himself out of jams and his pitch count isn't real high, leave him in the fucking game. But hey, your mismanagement of your bullpen, I get it. It got you 100 wins this year. Great, awesome, mazel tov. But in the postseason where that 100 wins, that don't mean nothing. Everybody starts over in the postseason with a 0-0 record. Okay. And every time you advance to a new series, your record resets to 0 again. Because it doesn't matter. You're playing for something else now, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, so J.P. Frierson comes in. He replaces Pete Fairbanks. And Christian Vasquez, who was the hero Sunday night, hits a single ground ball to left, to left field. And so he's on first base, 2 outs, right? Or no, it was no outs, right? So Christian Arroyo, he's got a pretty good pop in his bat, He's playing second base for the Red Sox at this point. He lays down a sacrifice bunt. Perfect bunt, perfectly executed. Nobody was expecting it. Christian Vasquez advances to second, so the bunt worked. The sacrifice was successful. It advanced the runner to scoring position, which is second base, right?
Yeah.
And then instead of getting Bobby Dahlbach, who was playing first base, Bobby Dahlbach has got, he had towards the middle of the year, his offensive numbers just went through the floor, and everybody's trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. Well, he was in the process of trying to make some adjustments. His defensive game came back. His offensive numbers exploded during the month of September. So he earned a spot on the postseason roster for sure, right? The dude is just like country cock strong, dude. If he gets a hold of one, dude, he's hitting it at a long, long way.
Yeah.
When he gets a hold of one, hits it on the barrel, he barrels up that ball. The second it leaves the bat, everybody in the stadium knows that it's gone. It's one of those, right?
Yeah.
An absolute piss missile. So
I like these analogies. It's fucking
So
hilarious.
Travis Shaw, who we brought back, Travis Shaw played for us back in 2018 when we won everything. He gets traded over to the Brewers, and the Brewers released him, so we picked him up. Said, hey, Travis Shaw, come on back. His nickname is the mayor of Ding Dong City, so because he likes to hit homers, right? Who doesn't? But this guy, he's particularly good at it. So Travis Shaw singles on a ground ball to Yandy Diaz, the third baseman for Tampa Bay. The ball kind of just squirts by and gets into the outfield. We have runners on the corners with 2 outs now at this point, right? No. Yeah. Okay. And so, no, it's still 1 out. Then comes Kiki Hernandez. It's his at-bat, right? Right-handed hitter. He has been absolutely on fire. 10 or 11 base hits so far this postseason. The dude is just, he's going to give pitching staffs nightmares. Absolutely, right? So he comes in. We make an offensive substitution. We pull Christian Vasquez off a third because he's a catcher. Catchers notoriously are not fast. They're slow, right? They run like a dump truck. We put Danny Santana, who we specifically brought onto the team for his speed. And his role is nothing more really at this point than just a pinch runner, and that is it.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's on third. Travis Shaw takes second base. And now when they call it defensive indifference, that means there's no attempt by the catcher or the defense to throw the runner out at second. Okay, so he just basically gets a free base. Doesn't count as a steal because it's rated at, or it's scored as defensive indifference. All right, so we're still working with 1 out here. On the first pitch to Kiki Hernandez, he absolutely puts a beautiful stroke on this ball, dude. But he gets it high enough and it hits it deep enough where we knew, okay, if we get a long fly ball, even if it's caught, the runner on third can tag up and still advance, right? Mm-hmm. And when we're talking about tagging up in baseball terms, what that means is that you have to stay in contact with the base that you're on. When an outfielder makes that catch, then you can advance, but you advance at your own risk. freaking Santana, Danny Santana, tags up. The throw comes in. It's up the line, and it's late. So a sacrifice walk-off hit, or a sacrifice walk-off, or a walk-off sacrifice fly is, and another RBI is credited to Kiki Hernandez. And Boston wins that game 5-6. I'm going batshit crazy. The Red Sox, who were not supposed to do anything of note this year except maybe finish above 500, just knocked off the number 1 seed in the American League bracket.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was like, wasn't Tampa Bay supposed to be number 1? They've been number 1 for
They spent the most time in first place. So, and I heard there was an interesting stat. It was brought up on the radio broadcast for the Red Sox last night. Is that the team that eliminates the Yankees in the playoffs? They I think it was 76% of the time go on to win the World Series.
Don't bring that.
I ain't bringing that hate. I ain't bringing that evil. I'm not bringing that evil.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing that.
Yeah, don't ever repeat that.
Now, a friend of mine did. He was texting me last night during the game. And
is it Zach?
No. Zach's in Happy Land right now because the Braves just knocked off the Brewers, and they're advancing to the NLCS.
The Brewers were.
The Braves have out of all the playoff teams, the Braves have the least number of wins at 88 for the regular season, but they won their division. Right? They won the National League East. Okay. And they knocked off the number 3 seed.
Because I know Ross of Drinking Bro Sports, he's a Braves fan.
Well, then he's a happy guy, right?
He was ecstatic.
He's probably shit-faced right now, screaming his lungs out. He's not going to have a voice for when they record next.
Oh, no, he still recorded perfectly. But yeah.
But so a friend of mine was texting me during the Red Sox game last night because he was watching it. And he's like, I can't stand Tampa Bay. And I was like, good, because I can't either. So he said, here's what a Yankees fan said about the Red Sox at the start of the season. Now, this is off of Reddit, right?
Yeah.
And he said it's some tasty copy pasta now, right? And so he copied and pasted this guy's message, right?
Yeah.
Does anyone else feel like the Red Sox were given way too much clout in preseason projections, or is it only me? No, I'm not surprised by an 0-3 start, but hear me out. Now, that reference refers to Red Sox getting swept by the Orioles at the beginning of the season to start 0-3. Right? Tragic. In a lot of preseason projections, the Red Sox were consistently projected to reach 80 to 83 wins. USA Today pegged them for 80 to 82. CBS Sports had them at 79.5, round to 80 for the sake of argument. And PECOTA, which is like a sports writers organization, right? Mm-hmm. Estimated 79.8, again, round to 80. I just don't see how our hated rivals hovering around I just don't see our hated rivals hovering around 500 at all this season. Verdugo, Martinez, Bogarts, and Devers do create a formidable heart of the order, but who else in their lineup can hit? Kiki Hernandez is the only other notable name in their lineup, and he has a career 735 OPS, all right, which is on base percentage.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I was about to say something totally different.
I don't need to go into detail about the rotations, especially since Sale could be out until any point between May and August. Eduardo Rodriguez is a slightly above average pitcher when healthy, but that's about it. The bullpen, Matt Barnes isn't that good. Ottavino cannot flourish in high leverage situations or tight games. The rest of their bullpen is makeshift. Now, he said that about Ottavino because we snagged Ottavino from the Yankees. So, of course, anybody who's not wearing the pinstripes anymore is now public enemy number one, right? And he goes on to say, maybe I'll end up being wrong, but I fail to see how the Red Sox will be anywhere near 500 this season. That has been copied and pasted into so many baseball Reddit threads since the beginning of the season. Every time the Red Sox have won a game, this guy's post has been copied and pasted into the subreddit. This dude is hating life. He hasn't posted shit in 5 months.
That's
that's
a
like
commentator, right?
No, I mean he's a Yankees fan who just posted in a baseball subreddit.
Oh, okay.
I said, yeah, he's kind of right. Only 20 or so games above 500, but hey, what's that, right? So there's just so many different things going on. I mean, now I have been conditioned as a Red Sox fan to get my heart stomped out, ripped up, pieced back together with masking tape and bubble gum, and expect it to work, right? So, but the Red Sox have experienced some notable successes. I mean, specifically the 4 World Series titles, since 2004. But you always know in the back of your mind that this team's going to fall apart one day, and it's going to absolutely kick your teeth in, right? And I have been preparing for it, and I'm just like, I love my guys. I love my team. I rep my squad 100%, all day, every day.
Basically, what you're saying is you're more or less a Cowboys fan.
No, I'm a Cowboys fan that can watch his team's more recent championships on Blu-ray, not VHS. Now, to be fair, we'll get into football in a minute, but Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, they're kind of scary this year.
Yeah, they're getting up there.
So
it's surprisingly, but I still will wait until I'm not a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much not a sports fan, but it's one of those things that I see.
If you were to find yourself watching sports, you wouldn't root for the Cowboys, right?
No, because it's.
See, the thing about rooting for a team.
I'm trying to find a good reference, but the only thing is.
It would be like.
No. I got it. It's like watching porn and knowing that you'll never get that hot chick, but you still try to feel like it's going to be you.
Okay, because we call this show Nerd Sports, I was going to say something along the lines of loving a show like Firefly only to have the owners, like i.e. Fox, rip the rug out from underneath you and blow it all up.
Yeah, that is a perfect. I should have used that one.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Brown Coats Unite, by the way.
I should have used that one.
But tonight,
or any freaking sci-fi series that came on Fox, really. If it came on at Fox, you're just like.
To include Almost Human?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great show, by the way.
It's like, you're counting the days, really, when it's getting canceled. It's like, oh, this is a really good show. Oh, it's on Fox.
Right. Okay, so not only did the Braves advance to their championship series, for their league championship series, but the Astros finally managed to put away the Chicago White Sox tonight, 10-1. And, so Thursday night, Game 1 of the ALCS is going to take place in Houston. No, I won't be able to get down there. No, I don't have tickets, sadly. Now, when I relocate to Houston, and should this little dream scenario come up again, you better ass believe that I'm going to be there, rocked out, in as much Red Sox gear as I can humanly put on.
Honestly, after your little trip to the Texas Rangers Red Sox game, I don't want you at the stadium. Only for your sanity, really.
No. Okay, so, again, I told you that this was a rebuilding year for the Red Sox. And when we had people like Garrett fucking Richards on the mound, Garrett Richards is one of those throwbacks to a dumpster fire that was started by Axl Rose because he's depressed that Guns N' Roses is no longer relevant.
I'm still...
to include the mullet.
I would still call you up and going, hey, how you doing, big boy? You doing all right? Are you?
And you know what?
Insane?
I'll be bitter. I'll be a little salty, but it's not going to affect my relationships with people at all. You know, it's like I'm sitting there having a conversation with my girlfriend last night and her sister, and she's like, "Oh God, you're not going to be one of those people that if the Astros win, you're not going to like not talk to me for 2 days." I was like, "Why would I do something like that?" It's not like I had anything to, you know, it's not like I could control anything on the field. It'd be different if I was playing, you know. And I didn't say that to her, but I'm like, no, I mean, there's no reason for me to not talk to you. I mean, that's insane. I mean, you get these people that are out there that, I mean, their lives absolutely stop when their teams lose the big game. You know, you see these, like, Chiefs fans or Steeler fans or even, hell, Cowboys fans. When the team shits the bed, what do? And you see these videos all over the internet. They're ripping these expensive-ass TVs off the wall and throwing a fucking temper tantrum. Like, are you serious right now? Bro, I got to work for that TV. Come into my house and rip a TV off the wall. Not only are you going to leave with a couple extra knocks and bruises, but you're going to leave with a very, very light wallet. Because I'm going to drag you, before I take you to the hospital, I'm going to drag you to Best Buy, and I'm going to make you buy me an upgrade for that TV, just because you decided you wanted to be a horse's ass and destroy my private property. No. And then on top of that, I don't care if you're my best friend in the world. You pull some bullshit like that in my house, you will never, ever darken my doorstep again. Pure, plain, and simple.
Yeah, I never got people like that.
I loved it when they came out with that. They came back. It was like in the early 2000s. It was a foam brick, and it was called a bad call brick, right? And this was back before we had like the LCDs and the LEDs and the OLED TVs, right?
Yeah.
And everybody was still working with the tubes and, you know, the CRTs, right?
Oh, hold on. Go ahead and keep on talking.
Well, you could throw this brick at the
is it
TV.
called again?
It was called a bad call brick. You know what? We should get one for the table. We should get one for the studio. But yeah, so, I mean, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the ALCS. The Dodgers, right now, they're trailing 2-1 to the Giants. And that...
They still sell those.
Do they? That is awesome. Right now, the Giants
Football
are...
University Bad Call Brick Party accessory.
So right now, the Dodgers are leading Game 4. 2-0. It's in the bottom of the second. They're playing in Los Angeles.
It's not that expensive either. It's like $8.
Okay, well, I'll get one at the first of the month then. But anyway, so I'm looking forward to this ALCS. It's gonna be hard fought. I mean, because you get this high octane offense for the Astros, right? Their pitching. Yeah, their pitching is okay. It's not the best it's ever been. I say that the Astros have an advantage, but there's that intangible variable that the Red Sox have, and they've been bringing it all postseason so far. They weren't supposed to beat the Yankees. They weren't supposed to beat the Rays. They weren't even supposed to be in the playoffs. So, you know, I'm excited for this ALCS because it is going to be hard fought, and I know that I'm a little bit biased here, but I'm thinking Red Sox in 6. I think the Sox are going to take it in 6 games, and it's going to be close. They're not going to be any of these blowout victories. I mean, it's going to be 1 or 2 runs per game, and it's not going to be low scoring. I mean, there's going to be some games where it's going to be like 7-6, 8-9. You know, there might be a game when a team hits double digits on the runs, but it's going to be like a 10-7 affair or something like that, right? ERAs are going to – it's going to be a roller coaster for ERAs during this series. But it's going to be a really cool series to watch. Both teams are, comparatively speaking, they are 4 wins away from going to the World Series. So – I'm just, you know, I mean, I think the thing with the Red Sox is that they took this mantra, this moniker that they got hung on them, is that this is a rebuilding year. You guys aren't going to do anything. You're going to maybe squeak out a winning season. I think they took that to heart because, I mean, all season long they've basically been underdogs. They overperformed for the first part of the season when they took first place, and they stayed in first place for like 68 days or something like that. But I mean, and then they had their little slump, and then Tampa Bay came roaring in, and they took over first place, and they held first place in the division for like 96 days. And then what was it? It was the Toronto Blue Jays held first place for, I think, like 4, 5, 6 days. The Yankees held first place for a single day. You know, so, yeah, it is just. I mean, it's gonna be a fun series to watch, regardless as to who wins. It's gonna be fun. Obviously, I want the Sox to win. Obviously, I want the Sox to go to the World Series and win that. But you know, I have to kind of keep my expectations with this team pretty realistic. What is that old saying that we used to hear all the time in the military? Prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm preparing myself for a sweep of by the Astros, but I'm also hoping for a very good series that shows that ends up resulting in the Red Sox taking.
No,
the
it's hope for the best, plan for the worst.
Same thing. I just said the same thing.
Yeah.
You just said the same thing, but with extra steps.
But that's the actual saying.
No, I've heard prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Plan and prepare. You're going to have to break your thesaurus out. And I'm not going to talk down to you. I mean, that's condescending.
Fuck you.
But plan and prepare, they mean the same thing.
Well, I know they mean the same thing, but there's
okay,
different.
Then why are we having this conversation?
Because it's basically, you just Army explained something to an Air Force person that actually has, a better thesaurus.
Don't act like you're all high and mighty, and then you're just bowing down and being all magnanimous here by trying to dumb things down. Because, believe it or not, everything in the military is written at an 8th grade fucking reading level.
Actually, I think
so. Don't at me.
In certain circumstances, it's a 4th grade.
Okay, then. So,
but that's just the Marines.
Don't come at me with the whole, well, we got a better thesaurus. Just because you guys have access to Wi-Fi when you go to the field doesn't mean a fucking thing. Anyways, moving on to football.
Again.
Week 5 was pretty great. And we're going to go over racing at the end of the show here. The Rams are 4-1. They beat the Seahawks 26-17. The Falcons got their second win of the year over the Jets. Like, that was hard. It should have been a larger margin of victory, but they only won 27-20. So, the Lions are still winless. They lost to the Vikings 17-19. The Saints
there was
beat the Washington football team 33-22.
I was talking to one of my new coworkers today, and he's a big sports guy.
Yeah.
To the point to where it's actual livable how he talks about it, because he doesn't add in shit. But no, and I can't find.
Are you saying I add in shit?
No.
Okay, good.
I'm talking about the.
Because I was about to come across this table.
I was talking about our other boss.
Oh man, you can't be talking about like that. What the hell is that all about?
But no, one of the players, as soon as he gets done with the game this weekend, breaks his ankle. And I couldn't, and I'm sorry for even bringing that up, only because I couldn't find where it was. Because there was several injuries this week too.
Yeah, well, while you're looking that up, I'm going to finish the scores here.
Oh no, I gave up because there's close to 30 injuries.
So the Patriots beat the Texans 25-22. The Dolphins lost to the Buccaneers 45-17. Tom Brady has thrown for the first time in his career 400 plus yards and then 5 passing touchdowns for the first time in a single game.
So he was the pick of the week for like fantasy football.
Oh yeah, yeah. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers barely beat. I mean, they had to beat them. I think it was the last second field goal, 25-22. The Broncos lost to the Steelers 27-19. The Eagles managed to scrape out a win against the now 3-2 Panthers 21-18. And they did that on the strength of the 3-interception game by their defense for the first time since week 2 of 2019. The Titans ended up beating the Jaguars 37-19, which is not a tall task considering that Trevor Lawrence has come in, burned the place down, and he's trying to learn and trying to adapt to the speed of the game, and everybody's going to make all these excuses, and they're going to be like, oh, no, not in the face. They're 0-5. I mean, they've lost the 20 straight games. It's the third longest streak in NFL history. The Browns got edged out by the Chargers 42-47. That was a barn burner of a game. And it's the third time he's lost a game when he scored 42 points or more, which is the most in NFL history. That's not necessarily a record that you want to set, but I mean, at least at that point, you know that your offense is capable of putting up games or putting up points. It's just your defense needs to step up. And you know, I get it. The Cleveland defense, they've been showing up, you know, and playing, but come on. Really? 47 points? Seriously. All right. The Raiders, again, they're in the middle of all this controversy. They lost to the Bears 9-20. The 49ers lost to the Cardinals, who are still undefeated at 5-0, 17-10. And the Giants come into the New York Football Giants come into Arlington to play the Cowboys in a divisional rivalry game. It was America's Game of the Week, billed by Fox. So it was a 3:00 game. It was in the primetime slot for Sunday afternoon. The Cowboys absolutely took it to the Giants, 44-20. Trayvon Diggs has an interception in 5 straight games, and that is the longest streak for Dallas since 1970. Okay, the Bills beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium, which is located in Kansas City, 38-20. Right? Yeah.
That's always confused me. Is there anything like
each of the last 11 wins by the Bills has been by 10 or more points, which is the longest streak since 98-99. And the Ravens, they managed to squeak out another win. They didn't do it in such a grand fashion, courtesy of Justin Tucker. But this one was 25-31, so it was a little bit more of a game. Yeah, and so let me see here. Oh, pick the winning team for a chance to win a $100 NFL Shop gift card. So, yeah, Jaguars haven't won, so I'm going to pick the Dolphins on that one. The Chiefs are going to Washington. I'm going to say that the Chiefs are going to rebound and beat the Washington football team. The Colts are going to go in and they're going to beat the Texans. Cowboys versus the Patriots. I'm taking the Cowboys on that one. Steelers versus the Seahawks. Ooh. Russell Wilson is out because he had surgery on a torn tendon in his finger. And it's called the extensor.
No, that's the thing
extensor
I was
tendon.
About.
Yeah, because when it tore, it basically disjointed his finger, right? And so they taped it straight.
Don't show me that again. Oh, God.
They taped it straight. Oh, you can't do that?
No.
This?
Not that. It's the
or
way
just the way this finger was like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the way you describe it went like
look,
this.
Look.
That's fine. It was the way that, I mean...
For those of you who are listening and can't watch on YouTube, on my right hand, I can kind of like make crochet hooks out of my middle and index fingers, and my ring finger too. And it's more affectionately referred to as the state trooper finger. It's the one that you poke them in the chest and you're like, you talking to me, boy.
Yeah.
So Russell Wilson's out. Okay, he had surgery on his finger. He's going to be out for a few weeks, if not maybe the rest of the season. I doubt that. He's going to rehab it and all this good. But I'm going to take the Steelers over the Seahawks. And actually, that one is going 50-50 for people who have already picked. The Cardinals versus the 49ers. I'm taking the Cardinals all day long. Bills versus the Titans. I'm taking the Bills.
You know
So,
what?
yeah.
Maybe maybe you should do a pick of the week for Angry Me Production,
Ooh, an Angry Me pick of the week.
especially for football. Football's so big and everything.
So let me look at the schedule for next week. All right. And I'm not gonna softball it. You know, it's not gonna be one of these. Oh well, that was a stretch. All right. So.
You have the stuff that you can post it and everything like that. So
Yeah.
I think we were going to start doing the pick of the weeks for football.
All right. So for football. Okay. Now.
Since baseball's looming down, and we should have done that beforehand, but we didn't.
Do you know how incredibly involved a pick of the week for baseball would have been?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Because of the basic fact of how much stuff, like the gust of wind,
I mean,
changes everything.
I could make a pick based on who's starting on the mound for a particular team. And if that pitcher falls ill or something along those lines,
Yeah,
that pitcher's
they're-
not able to make his start, and it affects the way that the team plays, and they get blown out, whereas they should have won that game handedly. I'm not gonna do that to my numbers. Absolutely not. I've already made my pick for the ALCS, the Sox in 6. So there's that. Anyway, moving on. Let me look here. Okay. I am going to take the Cowboys over the Patriots, like I said earlier. And here's why. They're going to go into Foxborough, and they're going to play in New England. It's going to be really the first time that the Cowboys this season have played in any
Actually,
kind of
you
cold
have enough
weather.
time. You could probably do it this week.
What?
The pick of the week.
I'm doing it right now.
I know that, but put it on Facebook.
I will do that tonight.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we're going to do this live. All right, so... Angry Me
Do
Production. Okay.
Angry Me Production Nerd Sports. No, we can Nerd Sports Pick of the Week.
Yeah.
Deal.
All right, so create a post. New feature. Nerd Sports Pick of the Week.
This actually should be kind of interesting. How many?
We're taking the Cowboys over, and do we want to put points in there? I'm not going to call the score, but I'm going to call the spread.
No. Call the spread.
I'll call a spread. Okay.
Just do who's going to win and who's not. Who's going to lose throughout the whole thing.
Over the Patriots. Cowboys. We'll say the Cowboys. I'm going to say, because the Cowboys' run defense is awesome. Their secondary is just lights out right now. Trayvon Diggs is just, I mean, I'm not saying he's a shutdown corner by any stretch of the imagination, because, I mean, the receiver that he was guarded with tasked with guarding still got 135 yards receiving. But he's more of a ball hawk. Okay, so I mean, he kind of just gravitates towards the ball. Once they stop throwing to him, to his side of the field, then he can start. I mean, he's getting up there into those elite ranks of corners, but I think that until they stop throwing to his side of the defense, he's just a ball hawk. I mean, he's a really good corner. I'll just say that. So we'll say Cowboys by, I'll just say 12. 12 points. Let's see here. Feel free to comment and discuss. And we are now posted. Posting and posted. All right, so there we go. Yeah. So Cowboys by 12. Mac Jones is going to learn a lot in this game. He's going to know what it means to start seeing different packages and things of that nature. He's not going to be able. He's going to probably throw for maybe 200 yards, but I really don't. He's going to throw at least one interception. He'll throw one interception, and the running game will probably maybe net 60 yards. I think the Cowboys defense is gonna bring the wood, and they're gonna lay it on the Patriots. I mean, they're gonna abuse that offensive line.
Yeah.
Pure, plain and simple. And the Patriots defense, they've got their highlights, but Dak Prescott's just he's dude. He's a wild man right now.
Yeah.
Pure, plain and simple.
So, NASCAR news.
Yeah, NASCAR news. Okay.
Now, are you going with Kevin Harvick?
Yes, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Let me do this. Okay. So, this weekend's playoff race was the Roval, which is the road course at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
Okay. And they call it the Roval because it's the road course, and the road course goes out onto the oval portion of the track, right? So that's why they call it the Roval. It's play on words, and I thought it was really clever. Anyway. Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott, let's just say this, they do not like each other. Kevin Harvick took exception to it, to Chase Elliott blocking him from a win a couple weeks before. And I think it was at Bristol. And Kevin Harvick thinks that he's the modern version of Dale Earnhardt. And I'm sorry, he's just not. Now, he replaced Dale Earnhardt after Dale Earnhardt Sr. died, but that's where the comparisons stop. I like Kevin Harvick to an extent, but when he starts showing when he starts showing his ass like he has been here lately, nah, bro. I mean, he said, because Chase Elliott took his helmet off, got out of his car, went over there and had a very cordial conversation with Kevin Harvick after the Bristol race. And Kevin Harvick, of course, left his helmet on because, he's a bitch. And he kind of made this, the comment that talking to Chase was like talking to his kid, who's like 8.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So, of course, Chase Elliott fans everywhere, and Harvick fans everywhere, just kind of at each other's throats parenthetically through the Twitterverse and stuff like that.
Our guys are fighting, so we have to fight too.
Yes, that's true. That's exactly right.
Wait, dang it! What's that? West Virginia and the old feud? Damn it!
Hatfields and McCoys.
Hatfields and McCoys type deal.
So, look at you bringing history into it. That's awesome.
Fuck yeah. Just because I can't remember shit, I can remember situations.
But nothing happened to Talladega between the two of them. Just Talladega is just Talladega. It's a wild card race, basically. It's an unknown variable. You go into it, you don't know if you're going to finish that race or not, just because of the way that the racing is set up at that track. Okay. But this week at the Roval, Kevin Harvick intentionally spun Chase Elliott. You could see it. I mean, it's blatant. I mean, he put a nose into his rear quarter panel and turned him, ripped the rear bumper off, right? And actually, Chase was on the inside. Kevin Harvick comes down like that, spins him, puts him up. Chase Elliott managed to keep his nose off the wall. Just tore up the back end. Chase Elliott had to go into the pits and get his car worked on and repaired. I mean, he basically fell all the way to the back.
Yeah.
He drove his car through the field. chasing Harvick down.
God damn.
And with like 12 laps to go, Harvick was running 7th. Chase Elliott was running 9th. Kevin Harvick hears from his crew chief, the number 9's coming up. There's a car between you and him. So Kevin Harvick starts driving in his mirror. He's like, oh, fuck. Right? Going into turn 1, Kevin Harvick, driving in his mirror, fails to make the turn and crashes his car into the barrier on the outside of turn 1 and effectively ended his day. I mean, like, busted the radiator, broke an upper control arm, just wrecked his car because he wasn't paying attention to what the fuck he was supposed to be doing, right? Chase Elliott, for all intents and purposes, Chase Elliott, all he cared about was like, look, we had our conversation at the end of Bristol. It's done. It's whatever. He wants to race that way, fine. And he's like, it's not indicative of what a champion of our sport is supposed to act like, but hey, whatever. Of course, Kevin Harvick, he's like, nah, this isn't over. Right? When he wrecked Chase Elliott this weekend, he came on the radio, he goes, oh, the lessons a young man has to learn.
Oh, Jesus.
Really? So NASCAR is now going to get involved. Rick Hendrick wanted NASCAR to come in and say, look, Chase, you sit down. Harvick, you sit down. We're going to have a come-to-Jesus milk and cookie meeting, right? Because both of these drivers, they were in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Chase Elliott is in the playoffs still. He's advanced to the round of 8. Kevin Harvick's playoffs are over. After the end of the race, Chase Elliott was interviewed, and he goes, well, I hope he has a great offseason and a Merry Christmas.
Damn. Damn.
I mean, he's still going to race. Kevin Harvick's still going to race until the end of the season. It's just he's not eligible for the championship now, because it's an elimination bracket.
Yeah.
So they started with a round of 16, then they go 12, then they go 8, and then they've got the championship.
Wouldn't that hinder the race a little bit? Is it a different race?
No. They're all on the same track with the other teams that are not eligible for the playoffs, not eligible for the championship. It's just the only people that can earn points towards the championship now are the people who are still in that bracket. So if you win, you automatically advance to the next round, right?
What's the benefit? What's the benefit of actually running in those races, though?
If you're not in the championship?
Yeah.
Sponsorship responsibilities, you still earn purse money for finishing the race, and then those purse amounts go up based on how you finish. So,
okay.
So there's still, for the most part, it's still the majority of it is sponsorship dollars. You signed a contract with these sponsors; they're paying you money to put their name on the car.
Now, what's the benefit of? Okay, say that I'm like him and I'm an asshole.
Okay.
And I decide, okay, this person right here needs to be eliminated to the point where
then you're going to
they're getting points.
Okay, so for example, if you know that Kevin Harvick is now out of the playoffs and he's going to make it his mission without telling anybody that he's going to intentionally go out and wreck Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
To ruin his chances of repeating as champion. Okay. If NASCAR comes in and they say, hey, look, we feel that you did this on purpose, we're going to cite you, and there's a rule. It's actions detrimental to stock car racing.
Okay.
They will dock you points, they will dock you money, and then they could actually park you.
Okay.
Okay. For example, last week, they found that when Kevin Harvick's car went through post-race inspection, they found out that he had 2 loose lug nuts. That's a big no-no. Okay. His crew chief, Rodney Childers, was actually suspended for this race.
Oh, okay.
He had to sit at the house.
Oh, okay.
So, and the reason why, one, it's a safety issue. Because if you get a loose wheel and it starts wallowing out, especially at the speeds that they run at Talladega, that could get somebody killed.
Aren't they changing it up to 1 lug nut?
Yeah, next year when they go to the next gen car, it's a central lug. We'll just have to see how next season plays out because the day or yesterday, Monday, they had teams that were running tests on the Roval with the new car. So they were kind of getting a feel for the setup and everything. But believe the next race for NASCAR is actually down here.
It is, because
At Texas Motor Speedway.
my coworker's going to it.
Yeah.
He was talking about it the entire time because he's like, I got to take Monday off.
Bro, dude, I want to go again so bad. NASCAR races are just absolutely fun. I make an all-day event out of it. It's going to be the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 500. So this is the first of the round of 8 races. So if you win, you automatically get locked into the next round. So if, like Kyle Larson, who won this past Sunday, if he wins, he's automatically locked in. He doesn't have to worry about points. Now, he can still race for points for the next state or for the next round by winning stages or placing in the top 10 during a stage at the end of a stage. He can accumulate those points that will go towards his total, and it could potentially give him a good cushion going into the final race at Phoenix.
Okay.
Okay. Chase Elliott can do the same thing. He's still eligible. You have Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Busch representing Joe Gibbs Racing. Believe. Let me look at the eligible for. I think Brett Keselowski. Hold on a second here. Let me look at. Let me see here. Playoffs, standings. Here we go. Okay. All right, so the top 4 drivers right now, Kyle Larson's leading everybody. He's actually got 7 wins on the year. But he's already won, so he's locked in. Denny Hamlin's running number 2 in the points. He's 35 points back. Martin Truex Jr. Is 36 points back. You've got Ryan Blaney, who runs for Penske Motorsports. He drives a Ford. He's 41 points back in 4th. Kyle Busch is 42 points back. He drives for Joe Gibbs Racing. Chase Elliott, who is the number 9 Chevy driver for Hendrick Motorsports, he's in the 6th position. He's 43 points back. Joey Logano, who I cannot absolutely stand, drives the number 22 car for Roger Penske Racing. For Penske Racing. He is in 7th, 52 points back, and Brett Keselowski rounds out the top 8 at 57 points back. So there's 3 big teams that are still eligible for the championship right now. You got Penske Racing, Hendrick Motorsports, and Joe Gibbs Racing. So going into Texas this week, Martin Truex Jr., it's a 1.5 mile track. It's progressive banking in turns 1 and 2, 23-degree banking in turns 3 and 4. You got standard tri-oval on the front stretch, but he really does well with those tracks. He's won at Texas multiple times, I believe. Kyle Larson has really picked up his 1.5 mile program, so he look for him to do well. Denny Hamlin, I believe he won at Texas once, and he's going to hang around. So, I mean, he's going to place well. Ryan Blaney, he's scary, good, dangerous type stuff at the 1.5 mile tracks. Kyle Busch absolutely owns Texas Motor Speedway, as much as I hate to say that, because he raced both the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. He's even raced the Truck Series. Now, Truck Series doesn't translate to the other 2 series, but he's got a lot of practice behind the wheel at Texas Motor Speedway. Kyle Busch is going to do what he can. His season, for the most part, he's got 1 win this year. 2 wins, actually. 2 wins this year. But for the most part, I mean, it's just been kind of a lackluster season for him. Chase Elliott has done well at Texas Motor Speedway. I believe he's actually won there. He's going to be a man on a mission. 1, stay away from Kevin Harvick. 2, beat the other drivers. If he and Kyle Larson get out front, they're going to actually hook up and they're going to take off. And they are. They're just going to take off. Brett Keselowski's won at Texas a couple of times. So he's consistent at that track. It's just really dependent upon his setup. When the car rolls off the trailer, rolls off the hauler. Just is it fast or not, and how well can they keep up with the changing conditions of the track, track temperature, air speed, stuff like that. A lot of it goes into how a car reacts and what they need to do as far as changing the setup on a car, raise the track bar, lower the track bar. Do they need to work on the brakes? Do they need to put tape on the front end to affect downforce? Change air pressures in the tires. They need to keep up with that, because as the sun goes down, that track temperature cools off. Mm-hmm. Grip levels are going to go through the roof. So you're going to start seeing guys running lower tire pressures, at night after the sun goes down, because it's going to be a lot of grip. And it's just going to be a lot of different handling setups. It's going to be who brings the best car and who's able to make changes throughout the course of the day and into the nighttime. The team that and I cannot state this enough. Races are won and lost on pit road. So your pit crew has to bring it.
Well, it's also for this weekend. I mean, going out this week, it's supposed to be raining most of it.
Yeah,
weather. I was in Burke today.
Yeah, weather is going to be an issue.
Lord.
Yeah, I was in North Richland Hills, and it spit on us every once in a while. But it is supposed to rain for the rest of the week.
What happened yesterday?
Yeah, we had
or the other day.
There's a lot of people that think that it was a tornado that went through.
It wasn't. It was just a big.
I know it was straight line winds, but it's just the damage.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there was rotation, but nothing came down. But because if you look at the weather models from last night, night before last, Monday.
And it's supposed to be.
Was it Sunday night? Yeah, it was Sunday night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was rotation, but nothing touched down. But it was just all straight. It was like 70 miles straight line winds.
We drove by that Escalade that got smashed, and it was on the news and everything.
Really? Wow.
Dude, you could barely see the car. Whew. Well, I guess that's about everything, right?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm excited for the Red Sox Astros series to start. It's going to be nice to see if the Giants can actually beat the Dodgers, because the Dodgers are the reigning world champions. So, we know that the American League's going to have a new representative in the World Series this year, but just by virtue of Boston beating Tampa. But if the Dodgers can actually, well, let me rephrase that. If the Giants can actually figure out a way to beat the Dodgers tonight, then we'll be guaranteed a new world champion this year. So,
one last thing, since we are doing nerd sports and get to the nerd portion of the show.
I thought we covered that with Firefly, but okay.
No, even better, because William Shatner is going on the Amazon penis jet.
Yes,
penis rocket.
His flight suit says William Shatner, a.k.a. Captain James T. Kirk.
Now, saying that, wouldn't it be funny if it wasn't, and I'm about to do a meme of this, if it was the Twilight Zone, it says Star Trek, that happens when he's going up. Because he was in that episode, which it was in the Twilight's movie. If you've seen that one too.
Oh, when he comes back,
when he's on the plane and there's a gargoyle rumbling.
There's someone
on the
or
plane.
something out on the wing. Yeah.
That would be funny. That would be
hilarious. I just really hope that he doesn't have a whole lot of lofty aspirations as to the type of tail that he's going to pull down in orbit.
That would be funny too.
Now, if one of the female crew members was really up on her nerd skills, she'd bring some green body paint. Now, granted, they're only going to be in suborbit for 15 minutes.
Yeah,
but still, I'm seeing memes all over the place.
And what a lot, because someone said this too,
we should all dress up as Klingons for when they land.
That would be hilarious. That was hilarious.
But just think about it, dude. Just the sheer scale of this. Captain Kirk is actually going to go to space.
Yes, that's something that's amazing.
And where the character was born in Ohio, there's actually a marker.
Yeah, Captain
is
Kirk.
The birthplace of Captain James T. Kirk.
Yeah, it was in Fanboys.
Yeah, I'm like, that just to me that's worth the road trip right there. I want to go.
Yeah.
So. But
anyways, I'm David Dickerman.
I am Johnny Skelton.
And thank you for watching.
Go Red Sox.